Hey guys, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. This video is proudly brought to you by the House of Cards, the official sponsor of my stream. Be sure to check out the link in the description below for all of your Flesh and Blood needs. As you're probably already aware, Victor loves to block. But the fun thing about the Boltyn versus Victor matchup is that Boltyn likes for you to block, because Boltyn is able to punish you for blocking with attack actions and give all their stuff go again. As Victor, you have to rely on cards like Trounce, Tests of Strength, and Sink Below to help you get out of some pretty tricky spots. One of your best attack actions in this matchup is Chokeslam. Chokeslam does a great job at turning off Boltyn's hero ability, so it's a must block for them and gives you a chance to take tempo. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. Playing against Boltyn and we're going second. Our opponent picked to go first. I'm not sure why they picked to go first. Maybe Boltyn wants to go first. I'm honestly not 100% sure. I just think that's pretty interesting. I really like Tenacity in this deck. Like, I think it's a really good play into the Boltyn deck. We're just going to go ahead and give... Nah, let's give these two cards. We draw at least one blue, I would imagine. Yep. So what we're going to do is make a surge and throw Chokeslam. Chokeslam is one of the better cards that we play against Boltyn. Like this card like turns off like all of like their hero ability for the most part, like, you know, with attack actions. So I'm a really big fan of just like okay, so they just decide to block with 3 cards. Interesting. Kind of like that decision. I think that's a good play from our opponent. Iron Song versus. They're probably just going to pitch to versus and pass if I had to guess. Yeah. Which is kind of nice because it gives us the chance to go E-Strike, putting Disable on the bottom, and to pitch Clash of Vigor for Chokeslam. So, like, we get to, like, apply a lot of pressure here with our turn. Like, this is really nice. This is a pretty good setup. And then, again, Chokeslam gives us, like, the play where they have to block. Okay, so they're going to give us 1 card in Bologna, which means they're, like, looking to have somewhat of an explosive turn here. They've seen 0 D-React so far, and we have bought ourselves 8 points worth of life lead, which is kind of nice. Let's see. I'm just going to give Trounce and see what happens here. Hopefully we win. I think we're going to say no. And then we have a Buckling Blow versus a Illuminate, so that we know when we block with the Test of Strength, we are going to win. Not that I really want to Arsenal either one of those, to be honest. Like, I don't really want to... I mean, I guess I can Arsenal the Debilitate here. And then Engulfing Light goes into the Soul after they play the Beacon of Victory. So block with Test of Strength. Like, they're going to play Lumina here. And then they're going to come in for 5? Oh, the Courage. So... is it correct? I think it's correct to just block 6 here. They're going to give it go again, and it's not going to hit. And then they're going to attack for 4. And I'm just going to give the Test of Strength, draw into the Buckling Blow after creating a gold. So we managed to take 1 life there, and it was off of a Beacon of Victory. And they very unsuccessfully used... their Lumina right there, which is 1 down. And I think a lot of Boltyn players who like understand this matchup will try to set up double Lumina against us. And it's possible that like our opponent tries to do that later in the game and they felt like they just needed to get on the front foot there. But I feel like that was a pretty good turn for us all the way around, honestly. I mean, this is just 3. I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of being able to block with the Cranial Crush at some point and then throwing the Prime to Fight and arsenaling the Sink Below here. I like getting Sink Below in Arsenal. Like, that is definitely like one of my... like, having the Sink Below in Arsenal like just gives us so much value, in my opinion, for their bigger turns. Like, if they do decide to go with a double Lumina play, we really have like a good option to like block with things. I want to keep the Golden Sun in the deck is the reason why I am... blocking with the Cranial Crush. They're using Tunic to come in with Valiant Thrust. What is this, for 7? So I think this is probably just to take 7. There's no on hits here. There's nothing relevant. We're just going to go to 28. And then I'm going to throw 9 at them and Arsenal to Sink Below. Anytime when you're going to try and Arsenal a Sink Below, you have to take some amount of damage. That's one of the things about setting up a Sink Below, is that it requires you to take damage. So You just kind of have to like you have to be okay knowing that you're going to lose a little bit of life and probably lose some of the life lead that you built up to try and get a sink below in Arsenal, but that sink below is going to help us build back our life lead. So it's kind of like we're playing a little bit of the game here. And they realize they don't have to block this here. Oh, they do have a sink below. Okay. I was like, if they have a really good hand, they don't have to block this at all because this is just 9. Like this is vanilla 9. Block with Prime to fight and throw the Spinal Crush is pretty good. I mean, again, it's just damage, so I think we're just going to take 2. I think I might just give... No, let's just go to 23. I think that's fine. Unless this is a Soul Shield, this is a pretty good line of play for us, throwing the Spinal Crush here. Not winning that Trounce was pretty big. That was like... I mean, it still worked out in our favor, but if we had won the Trounce, we would have been able to actually... we would have been able to throw the Prime to fight in our arsenal for 11, which would have been a lot better. Which means on their turn a minute ago, we would have been able to block with all 3 cards and just arsenal the sink below. So, like, I feel like that kind of cost us a little bit. Okay, so they don't have a Soul Shield, or if they do, they're saving it for something better. I assume he's on Soul Shields and sink belows here. Most Boltyn players are. Goes to 26 and pass. We are going to block with the Trounce. So we won the first one, and then we have a sink below, and we're going to go ahead and destroy a gold, put ours on the bottom. And we did win the Command and Conquer. That's pretty nice for us. And they don't actually do anything there. So I don't really want to go back-to-back sink belows on the bottom. Not a huge fan of that. I can throw the Disable for 8, or I can throw Command and Conquer for 7. So I think we're supposed to make a new Surge. And then throw... It's one of the downfalls of getting to keep your whole hand. I think we're just going to pitch the Asunder because we put a Golden Sun on the bottom of the deck not too long ago. So we can use the sink below and try to set up for we have Crippling Crush at home. Second cycle, if the game gets that far into the game, it's a really good way to close the game out from people who can block a lot. I'm curious to see how they go about blocking this. Like, are they going to give me the last counter on Bologna, or are they going to overblock with the Versus, or just give me a third card? There's always the option that they just say no blocks and just decide to lose their arsenal and take some damage here. Not likely, but it can happen. Play the sink below from Arsenal here. Just going to say no blocks. I am going to play the sink below here. I don't think I'm going to... I don't think we're going to... Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's actually really good for us. I was going to say, I don't think it's correct for me to let that hit. I think we're just supposed to give the sink below 100% there, even if they are going to use snaps. Now, if we hadn't and we decided to wait, they'd have 2 cards in their soul, and we would have got immediately punished by the fact that they only put Spirit of Arena into play. So, like, us actually deciding to go the route of playing the sink below, knowing that we can play the other one if we need to, was really good. We've also done a pretty good job at this game so far of denying them soul, which is important, because if they have, like, 7 cards in soul, then, like, there's not really a reason to block on their Lumina turn unless I have to. All right, they're going to take 1 here. I mean, deal. That's a good turn cycle for us. It's a good turn cycle for us. So... we're going to pitch this to make a new Surge, and then we're going to throw Thunderquake for 10. They still have Versus and Bologna, so throwing the Titan's Fist for 5 Dominate is not the play. We just want to like throw as much damage as we can and try to pressure them. Okay. We might be looking at putting the Pummel on the bottom. So they want everything to get +2. We're just going to block with Test of Strength and see what we come up with here. Yep, you love to see it. Honestly, you do love to see it. I don't think throwing either one of these at blue is worth it. Like, I don't think trying to like keep a whole bunch of cards to throw this and Pummel is worth it. This feels like maybe a Valiant Thrust is coming. I mean, are they going to play Lumina at instant speed? Let's block 3. I can afford to take 3 here, and let's see what they do. If they play the Lumina... so that actually puts it 1 over to where I can't block at all, even if I wanted to. That is unfortunate. So is it better to take 5 and go to 17 here and just block the next one? Probably. That's probably just a better play for me. Reveals Bolt of Courage. Yep. Block with Chokeslam. I'll give the sink below here. And we're not going to sink anything. I don't think I want to sink anything here. I'm still able to throw the hammer if I want to. And Tenacity is for 8 here. It's pretty good value here from the Tenacity. So I think this is an okay turn to just go ahead and... I mean, we still got our equipment. Let's just go to 11. Like, we have all of our equipment left to block with, so let's just go to 11. We'll Arsenal the Pummel, and if we draw into a CNC, we'll try to play for the flip turn here. I mean, this hand's not great. This hand's not good at all. We could use Crown to try and bail us out of this turn by putting a Debilitate on the bottom. Probably put an E-Strike on the bottom, honestly. Like, we've only seen the one CNC so far, so, like, there's a pretty decent chance that we have another CNC coming up, like, soon-ish. Let's go ahead and crown one of our E-Strikes away and see what we can find here. Let's take 1. Yeah, I was like, he's probably going to give go again, and we're probably going to end up blocking with 2 cards again here. He has no cards in Soul, so I think this is important. This could be a Courageous Steel hand here, but I don't know that I can play around it. I think it's important that I throw the hammer here because, like, it gives me an opportunity to, like, bring this game closer. And I still have, like, 7 points worth of equipment block that I can use if I do draw into a Command and Conquer right here to, like, kind of help me out. Let's see. We've seen 1, 2 Trounces. We've seen 2 Trounces and 2 Tests of Strengths. So there's still a Trounce and a Test of Strength. And the only sink below that we have left, we put on the bottom of the deck. Okay, well, this is what we're looking for here. I think we'll just go ahead and block this. So this is for 5 because of the Courage token. So if I block 3 with the Command and Conquer and take 3, I go to 7. He gets another card in his soul. And then on the second one for 4, I get to give Gauntlets and Civic Steps. Or is it better just to... I'm taking 3 and then taking nothing if I do that? Or if I do this... I think this is the correct play. Like, I think this is the correct play. As much as I don't want to give him another card in his soul, I think this is the correct play. Giving him the Civic Steps, like, is very unfortunate at the end of the turn here, but I think this is okay. And now we're going to throw CNC and stare at him. We took quite a bit of damage to, like, really go out of our way to try and, like, throw this, so... I mean, I guess we were at 10. We only took 3 damage. We didn't really take that much. We just used a lot of our equipment block there to, like, try and put us in a good spot. I'm really hoping that this Pummel has, like, a really good spot here, because if it doesn't, like... I mean, Probably the best thing he can do here is give me 3 cards in versus. Or Bologna, whichever one he would rather not have, I guess. I don't know. Is that all 3 Luminas, though? So that's all 3 Luminas. How many Courageous Steel Hands? He said he's thinking, so I'm going to put no problem. Just to let him know that he's perfectly fine here to take as much time as he needs. How many Courageous Steel Hands have we seen? 1... 2... We've only seen 2 Courageous Steel Hands. We haven't seen a red yet. And we've seen 1 Beacon of Victory, 1 V for Vanguard, V of the Vanguard. Well, we do get the Pummel and the Command and Conquer effect here because of how our opponent blocked, which is kind of nice. They discard a Soul Shield and they get rid of their last V of the Vanguard, I'm pretty sure. And this is a really good turn for us because we get to make a Surge and throw the Chokeslam, which demands to be blocked. Even if they just give me a card and versus and like Bologna here, they still have to block this out. Also, our opponent's on 7 cards. So like, oh no. Okay, so they give us versus in the last Sink Below? Or I guess it's the last Sink Below? Maybe it's not the last Sink Below. No, maybe it's not. Maybe like all of their D-reacts lined up very poorly. They only took 3, so there is no crush effect there. We get to use the Trounce. We get to use the Trounce, the Thunderquake. Yeah, we get to like block and throw the Debilitate here. Barring that we win this, I think we've won this game, but I have to make sure here. Also, I apologize for the mowing that you guys can hear. They're mowing right now in my condo. I don't know if my opponent's thinking or what's happening here. I mean, they still have the Quicken token because they passed, so like the Quicken token is still there. You may charge a hero's soul. So they charge a Bolting Blade. So this is 3 go again. I'm just going to give the Trounce here. And let's go to Bloxies with the Trounce. I will destroy a gold and put mine on the bottom. Nice. We win with the Debilitate and then with a Golden Sun, which means we don't even need to throw the Debilitate now. We can throw the Golden Sun for 11, which I may or may not be correct here. I think we can afford to take 1 here. It's like, I don't think there's any like crazy tricks up their sleeve here. Okay. And then they go this route. So we're going to block Thunderquake, Tech Plating Gauntlets. Okay, so I can make a new Surge here regardless. And then this is for 9, which means it requires 2 cards from their hand. Or this is for 11, and they probably have a Soul Shield, so like, I mean, throwing the 11 is just less relevant, right? Like, it's just better to throw 9 here because it has an on-hit effect. I'm pretty sure. Like, this feels better. If this were, like, if one of these cards were a Spinal Crush, like, we probably would have had to think about that a little bit more, but... So he has the Soul Shield here. Yeah. Oh, it's from hand, which is even better for us. It's not from Arsenal, which is fantastic. That is great for us, honestly. Like, I know it puts a card into his soul, but, like, that is really good for us. Because it means he only has 2 cards in hand here. Using the Civic Steps this game has been really weird because, like, there's not really been, like, a great place to use it. At least not that I've noticed. There might have been, and I just haven't been paying attention. I mean, he already has a Quicken, right? So, like, let's just give it to him here. Like, it's fine to just give him the Quicken token. So that's his last Sink Below on top. I think we're going to block 3, take 1. The Vigor lets me make a new Surge, and then I get to throw 10 Overpower here. So make a new Surge. 10 Overpower. Now, this isn't going to end the game, not even remotely. Even without the Sink Below in his deck, he would still be able to give me a card and Boltyn and Tunic and go to 1. But I'm pretty sure that, like, at this point, we're just trying not to die to something randomly. I mean, I'm at 5 and he has no cards in deck. So, like, we're not really worried about, like, it's more about not losing at this point. Tunic, Boltyn, and Sink Below, I assume. Take 4, go to 2. I mean, there is no threat of Pummel here. We put the other one on the bottom. Now, he doesn't know we're not playing a third one, but he, like, we can't play it here regardless. But he could assume that maybe we're, like, looking to arsenal it or something. I'm not sure. Sometimes I would really like to be inside the minds of my opponents to, like, understand what they're thinking. And that's not, like, because I think people are always making bad plays, but I'm curious to know, like, why people think what they think sometimes. That's huge. That is huge. Drawing a Test of Strength this late in the game is insanely good for us. So we're just going to block with Test of Strength. Win the Golden Sun again. It's insane. The value. Unreal. They said good game in the bottom corner. I think they realized that the game was just over and they were out of cards. Early on in the game, there was a turn where I had a Trounce and a Test of Strength. I blocked with the Trounce first to try and get value off of it to see if I needed to use the Test of Strength. I ended up tying on the very first clash, decided not to reclash because I would have had to have broken my shield, which had not blocked yet, so I wanted to keep the value from the shield there. The Test of Strength really bailed me out there because I was able to block with it second, knowing that they had an Illuminate and I had a Buckling Blow. Now, normally having a Trounce and a Test of Strength is not a combo because once you win the first clash, you can't draw anymore if you've already created gold. So, like, having another block card would just be better on a different turn. Towards the middle of the game, there was a turn cycle where I was able to block with a Sink Below and deny the Illuminate going into Soul. And then my opponent used Snapdragon Scalers to put Spirit of Arena into play. Now, I don't think that they made the wrong decision there, but that turn cycle really worked out for me because it gave me the ability to throw a Spinal Crush, arsenal the Sink Below, and then on the following turn, I was actually able to go ahead and throw a Red Thunderquake at them, which gave me a lot of life lead and a pretty good place of tempo. The Command and Conquer Pummel turn was pretty big. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think my opponent played that correctly there. I think my opponent is probably just always supposed to give me 3 cards and a piece of armor there, but I think they just decided to say, you know what, I think he's bluffing, and they went for it and they got punished. I'd really like to know what was going through their head right there because I took some damage and I also kept multiple cards to throw a CNC, which doesn't make sense unless I have the Pummel when you know I'm not going to arsenal a card because there's already a card in my arsenal. In 2 of my last 4 hands of the game, I had a Trounce and a Test of Strength, which was insanely lucky for me. I really just wound up getting lucky with my draws there towards the end of the game. The Trounce drew me into a Golden Sun and allowed me to throw Debilitate for 9. Then it was Golden Sun, and then it was another Golden Sun. I was just able to close the game out by blocking efficiently when my opponent only had like 10 cards left in deck, and I was just able to push a lot of damage to close out the game. Guys, if you see anything you think I could have done differently, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.